Hello and welcome to the Middlest, our Patreon-only show where we talk about the episode with the exact middle user rating. We want to see what this show looks like at its exact average, because every show has highs and lows, but spends most of its time in that
big middle.
This episode that we're talking about today is Season 2, Episode 4, DJ's Very First Horse.
It's a horse one.
It's a horse one. So
it's the horse. It's like the horse girl episode.
It's the horse girl episode, and for me, it's great. It's such a great one. I am so happy that we were gifted it as our middle, because for me, it was the best one that I watched.
Yeah. So like a little peek behind the curtain here, when it's, there's the ones where it splits evenly, and then there's a clear number that's the Middlest. But there's a lot of times where if you you divide the list in half, you end at a 0.5, and so you can kind of choose. You have to decide to choose either one. And then in this case, the choice was between this one and another one that sounded interesting, where it's like the dog runs away and it's like the dog's big day in San Francisco, which also would have been fun. But I just felt like we had to do the horse one as the middle. And
you were correct. And this is when I will then give you my doctoral thesis about horse girlism and what horse girlism is and why as a society it exists.
Go for it.
Okay. So horses, right? They're huge. Even a pony is big, right? Like, you're not finding a pony that's super small. But if you are taught to care for and handle it properly, you can make it a tame animal that will carry you around the world. This big, huge, hulking animal becomes your buddy, becomes a thing that you can tame and control. And girls and women have so little power. We have so little power and so little control over everything. And sometimes less physical strength than men. So this is a situation where women and girls can control something that is big and scary and huge with a sort of soft power. So that's why girls like horses, because it's our one shot at controlling something powerful. Because if you come at a horse, you can come at a horse big and gruff and rough, but you're not going to have that horse-human relationship that has been existing since the beginning of horses and humans. If you abuse it, if you beat the animal into submission, that is one way to do it. But you also can lead a horse and connect with a horse outside of that.
I think there's a classic saying about leading a horse and the amount of control you have over a horse.
Exactly. But yeah, girls, it's our one shot where we get to do something physical, where we get to do something that requires a lot of unspoken communication, requires a lot of hard work. I feel like for a while it was shied away from giving girls heavy work and hard work, but not in the sense of caring for a horse, which is hard work and heavy work. So
there's also the other element, though, of like to get into horses that's expensive, big money proposition.
Yes and no. Yes, horses,
which is what this episode's about.
Yes and no. Horses are expensive, but that has not been when we used horses for farming, there was not like it was a piece of farm equipment. It was your John Deere, right? So when you use them for ranching, they're your bicycle. Like, it's when you're in that sort of situation with a horse, it's not necessarily about money and prestige. A lot of it is now, because we don't really use horses for those things on a day-to-day basis in our everyday lives. People certainly are using horses to ranch and farm all the time, but the bulk of where modern people are interacting with them is at a stable that is specifically for horse training and horse riding. So yeah, which is a very expensive thing.
Which leads us to DJ's. I like that the title of this episode is DJ's Very First Horse, because it implies that DJ will have many horses in her life. And this is just about her very first one.
Yeah. The Tanners are rich.
Yeah, money is not the problem for them. The problem for them is their life is wacky.
Yeah.
The wackiness is really their...
Like, they own a painted lady.
Yeah.
In Alamo Square.
Yeah. They have like a very nice house.
That is somehow big enough for everyone to live in comfortably.
But not notably a horse, despite DJ's attempt.
Yeah. So what happens in this episode is that the Wake Up San Francisco is doing a piece.
Which is the TV show that
Danny and Aunt Becky both work on.
Yes.
They're co-hosts of Wake Up San Francisco. And so they're doing a piece at the stables, and the kids come, and DJ sees this horse, and the guy's like, yeah, this horse doesn't needs a home, needs an owner. What does it cost? It was like $50 a week or something like that
Yeah. Well, she has to buy the horse, and then she has to pay
like the stable fees.
$50 a week, I think, for care, or maybe a month. I don't remember.
So her and Kibby are splitting it. Anyway, she convinces Kimmy to split it. She doesn't ask her dad about this because she's afraid he'll say no. So she gets the money for her half of the deal, but then Kimmy spends her money on shopping, so ultimately she can't have the horse. But she is secretly having a horse this whole time.
Well, so she can no longer afford the horse, and so the
after,
guy
after Kimmy's like, I don't have the money. So then the horse has to get taken back. And so,
the guy at the stables is like, I'm sorry, I have to sell.
So instead of she says, I want to take him for one last ride. But when she takes him for one last ride, she just takes him back to her house. And this is like a proper horse. This is like at least a 14, 15 hand horse. It's a big horse.
Can you imagine the amount of shit, like literal shit, that the crew was having to clean off that set when they had a horse standing on it?
I wonder what union rule it is. They definitely have like the horse trainer that comes in that has to clean the shit up. There's no way.
No, the horse trainer. There's a horse trainer, and then there's probably like a horse technician. That's the fancy name for the person who cleans up the shit.
Cleans up the shit. Yeah, so DJ brings the horse home, and there's this like very good little farcy bit where they're trying to hide the horse from Danny, but
Yeah, well, because what's his name? Not Scott Baio. That's from the last one.
Uncle Jesse, John Stamos.
John Stamos. That's the famous guy. John Stamos sees it first and kind of gets on board with trying to hide it from Danny just because Danny will be so mad, but is unable despite trying to keep Danny in the kitchen from Danny finding out that there's a horse in the house.
And Danny finds out that there's a horse. And the moral of the story is don't lie to your parents about having a horse.
And that's a good moral.
Can you imagine if Ira secretly had a horse? I'd be so cool with it, but...
You'd be so proud.
I would be so cool with it, but I would be a little upset that she was lying about it. Because it's not safe. It's not safe to bring a horse home.
No.
It's not safe for the horse, and it's not safe for you.
And there you have it. To hear the rest, support our show on Patreon, which is also the way that we make this show help us get to breaking even, because when we break even, we will cover Breaking Bad. That is our promise and our guarantee. We are taking the last 2 weeks of the year off, and we are coming back on January 6th with Gilmore Girls. See you there.